Hello everyone, welcome to Katharine's Creatures. This is episode 75, and this is a series where we get to touch base and talk a little bit about various mythological beings, and the like pulled from lore worldwide. And I always like to preface by saying that I am not a linguist, so I apologize if I mispronounce anything. I try my best, but I do want to let you know that that can potentially happen. Now, today it is the 75th one of these I have done, and so usually I try to keep to myth and legend and that kind of lore and entities that kind of fall into those categories. I do usually avoid deities of sorts, but today I'm going to kind of deviate from the norm just a little bit and choose something that's not technically pulled from any kind of mythology or folklore or legend. Today I'm actually going to be talking about, because I've been asked multiple times, to cover Cthulhu. Now, Cthulhu is a sort of cosmic entity, and it was created by an author, H.P. Lovecraft, for a story collection, and in particular the story was called The Call of Cthulhu, and was published in 1928. And since then, Cthulhu has become very recognized in both sci-fi and paranormal lore, but it was an entity created by an author for a story. So, getting back to Cthulhu, well, interestingly enough, the Cthulhu's name comes from another word, chthonic, which is ancient Greek, and chthonic means from the earth. And it's used a lot of times to describe various earth-based spirits, like German dwarves and even Greek telekines and other entities like that. Now, Cthulhu itself is a little different, and we'll get to that in just a moment, but let's try to figure out what Cthulhu is, and that's kind of it's a head scratcher for many things. Again, this cosmic entity created for the purpose of a short story, and has a really interesting description of what Cthulhu looks like. Supposedly it's a monster that has some kind of anthropoid-like, I have a little note that fell down, anthropoid-like outline or shape, with some kind of octopus, again, shaped head, where the face is just sprouting countless feelers. Sometimes some of the descriptions also go on to say that it has a scaly, rubbery looking body, has very distinct claws on both the hind and the forefeet, and long, narrow wings. It's often depicted with these wings. But other kind of descriptions vary a little bit, again saying Cthulhu has resembles in some way, shape, or form, which again, like the head, some kind of either octopus, dragon, various kind of humanoid entities, and is described as being around a little over 100 meters tall, so a very big cosmic presence. And the story itself, also to mention this, has human-looking limbs with webbing on them, both arms and legs. So interesting. Very interesting, very striking creature. But again, Cthulhu was written in The Call of Cthulhu in 1928 by Lovecraft, and the author came up with a very detailed genealogy and origin story of this cosmic entity. And if you want to learn more about that without spoiling the story, you should go and read the story. Now, with that said, since the short story collection was published, and Lovecraft almost became synonymous with the name Cthulhu and vice versa, the entity itself has been used over and over and referred back to in multiple ways, including in the 1980 edition of Dungeons & Dragons. Cthulhu was kind of embedded as a creature within that storyline, their player handbook, essentially, but because there was some question on copyright infringement, D&D ended up removing Cthulhu from all later editions, so you can't play Cthulhu anymore from the original or the actual D&D handbooks. And since then, also, Cthulhu, again, being so iconic and recognized, different people have named actual animals that we've discovered after Cthulhu. One being a spider, another being a moth, and there's even a false fossil that was discovered that someone eventually realized it's a newly discovered creature, and so they slapped on the name Cthulhu as well. So Cthulhu nowadays is actually living, breathing creatures, small creatures, moths and spiders. But there you go, fun fact. So if you have any questions pertaining to this or anything else, post them in the comments below, or just, reach out to me on any of my social media. And until next time, Skull.